Morning, everyone. Meteorologist Bill Rentschler in the 1011 Now streaming studio. Hope everyone is having a nice Thursday morning. It has been hot and kind of on the breezy side over the past couple days, and it's been awfully dry, not just over the past couple days, but really over the past several weeks. And today is Thursday. That means it's Drought Monitor Day, so we're going to be taking a look at the latest drought conditions across the state. And unfortunately, things kind of progressively continued to just get a little bit worse and a little bit worse over the last several weeks. So this is a look at the drought monitor that was released last week, just so you can kind of see where we are. The good news is we didn't see an awful lot of expansion in any moderate or severe drought across the state, but we did continue to see more abnormally dry conditions develop across the area, and particularly as I'm about to hit the button here to advance to the current drought monitor, keep an eye on east central sections of the state between Lincoln and Omaha, and then down kind of across south central sections of the state, and that is where we did see some continued expansion in those drought conditions. So again, continuing to see those conditions just get a little progressively worse. If we look at the change map, again, this is just the map from the Drought Monitor website, droughtmonitor.unl.edu. Again, you can see these are the areas that got one category worse. Again, across east central into northeastern sections of the state, again, one category worse, basically going from no drought to abnormally dry conditions. And then some of those areas in south central into southeastern parts, south central into southwestern parts of the state, where again we continue to kind of see that one step backward. So again, that's the latest look at the drought monitor, the current drought monitor that was released this morning. And again, really over the course of the last week, there hasn't been really much of any precipitation for many areas across the state. Again, so again, we need a little bit of a pattern change. We need more of those rain chances to come back into the forecast, and we do see more chances for rain in the forecast over the course of the next week than we did over the previous week. So that is good news. But again, for here in Lincoln, we are now officially below average for our moisture, not just for the month, but for the year as well. So here's the drought time series, our drought status over time, over the course of the past year. And again, right now we have more percentage of the state under drought conditions than we have at any time over the past year. We have just a little under 24% of the state that's still drought free, about half of the state under abnormally dry conditions, about 20% of the state under moderate drought, 6% under severe drought. So again, no extreme or exceptional drought at the moment. That is the good news. But again, things have just kind of gotten progressively worse. It certainly wouldn't surprise me if we did start to see maybe some extreme drought begin to creep into the state over the next few weeks, unless we see some more moisture across the area. As far as the National Drought Monitor, again, we've looked at this over the past several weeks, and again, there's a few spots that we've kind of kept our eye on. One is across West Virginia into parts of southeastern Ohio. Those are some areas with extreme to exceptional drought. West Texas down into southern New Mexico, again, the El Paso region. Again, not surprising. Again, very dry climate down there. Again, they have some ongoing extreme and exceptional drought. And we also have some extreme drought across parts of western Montana. And we have seen some extreme drought kind of creep into parts of eastern Wyoming and right along the Wyoming and Montana and Dakota borders, right there in the high plains into the Black Hills. So that's the national drought map. And if you look at the national change map, again, we can see many areas across the Midwest down into the Southeast have been seeing at least increasing drought conditions. We have seen some improvement across parts of Texas, New Mexico into Arizona. Again, some seasonal moisture, monsoonal moisture in those areas. Again, certainly Hurricane Francine that just made landfall yesterday is going to be traveling kind of up the Mississippi River towards the Ohio Valley. That should provide some good moisture for those areas, and again, hopefully make a dent in some of those drought conditions that we do see in those areas. But again, we need the moisture. Again, hopefully we can get some as we hit over the course of the next week. This is the National Drought Time Series, and again, over the past few weeks, we've seen more drought than we have at any time over the course of the past year. Again, just a very small percentage of the country under any sort of concerning drought conditions. It's less than 0.5% under any exceptional drought, and about 2% under extreme drought conditions. Again, most of it is the abnormally dry, about a third of the country under those abnormally dry conditions at this this time. So we check out your weather headlines. Again, unfortunately, it's kind of more of the same. It's going to be a warm and breezy day today, and we're in store for another warm weekend. There will be some rain chances that are coming, though, as we head over the course of the next week. Likely not arriving until the weekend, though. And again, the chances that we have on the board, at least right now, are on the low end. Certainly don't see any widespread heavy rainfall in our future as we head over the course of the next week. The activity that I think we're more likely in store for is going to be more isolated to scattered and on the lighter end of things. Again, that being said, again, long-range models continue to hint at the potential maybe for some above-average rainfall and maybe some heavier moisture across the region. We're not quite seeing that play out. Again, yet in the shorter to mid range in the models, as again the long range models again still a long ways out and still have plenty of time to change. But again, it is something we're still keeping a close eye on. Just about 10 minutes past the top of the hour in Lincoln right now. Upper 60s temperatures, but plenty of sunshine to start the day. Again, a little bit hazy out there at times. Light southeast wind at around 5 miles an hour, and you'll notice the dew points are a little bit higher. We've been expecting this. Dew points are in the upper 50s, which still isn't bad, but again, compared to the upper 40s where they've been the past couple days, it certainly is higher and likely just a little bit more noticeable. I think those dew points are going to continue to climb as we head through the end of the week and into the weekend, even into next week, as we're going to see a return to those more humid conditions that we haven't seen over the course of the past week or so. Temperatures across the Lincoln Metro are in the mid to upper 60s to low 70s. Again, so not a bad start to our Thursday morning. Temperatures statewide also running the range of the mid to upper 60s and low 70s. Right now it's 70 on the nose in Valentine, 62 in Ord, have some 50s still on the board in the Panhandle, including 58 right now in Scotts Bluff. Dew point temperatures again are a little bit higher, but they're still okay. In the 50s, I'd say is still pretty comfortable, but it's mid to upper 50s for most instead of the low 50s where we've been the past couple days. And again, that dew point trend, you can see where we've been with the blue line, where it's been very dry, very fairly comfortable. But you can see the yellow line is kind of the forecast where we're thinking we're going to go here over the course of the next week. And again, it's going to remain not horrible as we head through the day today and even into the day tomorrow. But as we head through the weekend into early next week, we're going to be getting back into that muggy to humid range where those dew points could be climbing back to the middle and upper 60s and maybe even lower 70s for a brief period of time. So again, that'll be something to keep an eye on over the next few days. Winds, again, generally out of the south and east. Right now, they're not too bad for most of the state, but expect another breezy day already on the breezy side across parts of northwestern Nebraska with winds at 15 to 25 miles an hour. Satellite radar picture is quiet. Not a whole lot happening. If you look at the visible imagery, again, not a whole lot happening. It's mainly clear skies across the state. Again, we can see some of that smoke that's kind of drifting across the area. We can also see some high-level cirrus clouds in extreme southeastern Nebraska. Those are associated with now tropical depression Francine that is currently drifting to the north right now down across parts of Louisiana, Mississippi, down in that area. So if we zoom out on the regional, or if we look at the more regional view of the visible satellite imagery, here is where we can see Francine. Again, tropical depression now did make landfall as a Category 2 hurricane along the Louisiana coast. And again, we can still see the spin of that system, and the center of that system is still currently trekking basically right now over central Mississippi. And again, it is bringing some heavy rains and some severe weather down to the southeastern parts of the country. It's, again, a system we'll continue to keep an eye on. But again, no effects here at home. Again, when you look at the satellite and radar picture again, there's really nothing going on. You zoom out, look at a regional view. Again, we have some showers, clouds over Montana into the northwest. And again, we have the remnants of Hurricane Francine down to the southeast. You zoom out, look at a national view. And again, those are really the only two areas of precipitation we have our eyes on. Again, zooming down here into the southeast with Francine. Again, we have some flash flood warnings again across parts of Louisiana into Mississippi. Also along the Florida Peninsula, we did have some tornado warnings with the system earlier this morning. Again, when we have these tropical systems, a lot of times we do see an increased threat for some tornadoes as well, and that is what we've seen thus far. And if you look at the current alerts, there's actually tornado watches that are currently in place across parts of Alabama and the Florida Peninsula. Again, you have flood watches across a good portion of western Georgia into, again, Alabama, Mississippi, areas like that. Also, another area of concern, again, with the dry and breezy conditions, we do have red flag warnings for elevated fire danger across much of the western parts of Nebraska, as well as the Dakotas into western Kansas, eastern Colorado, Wyoming, and spreading all the way over into parts of Utah as well. The one area I did want to point out on this map, though, is you can see across parts of Montana, there are a few areas that are shaded in purple, and I'll zoom in on those so we can get a better look at those. This is in the mountains, the Rocky Mountains in Montana, and these are winter weather advisories. So if I click on these to kind of see what's going on, it's a winter weather advisory that's going into effect at 6 p.m. Mountain Time this evening through 6 a.m. Friday morning Mountain Time. This is the West Glacier region, and they are going to be potentially seeing 3 to 6 inches of snow in these areas, and potentially as high as 10 inches of snow in some isolated spots there in the mountains. So again, it is that time of year. Again, if you go down here to the south a little bit, again, 3 to 6 inches of snow is the most likely. But again, upwards of 6 to 10 inches of snow can't be ruled out in those higher elevations. I have the newsroom here looking at me because I'm talking about snow. They don't know I'm talking about Montana, Matt. It's okay. We're talking about Montana. But again, I will say, I'm going to look it up real quick because the earliest measurable snowfall, first measurable snowfall in Lincoln is in the month of September. I'm going to look up the exact date. Earliest ever was September 29th in 1985. September 29th, 1985. Now I got to look up 1985 here. September 29th. We had a high of 40 and a low of 33, and we had 0.8 of an inch of snowfall in Lincoln. That was September 29th, 1985, so that would have been almost 40 years ago now. So again, it has snowed in the month of September. We're not there yet, again, certainly with the pattern that we're in right now. But again, 'tis the season, especially for areas in the mountains. That's going to be starting here over the next few weeks. I also haven't, not going to show it today, but I also have our fall foliage tracker that's going to be debuting here in the next few weeks. Not much color out there just yet, but that, again, will be just right around the corner here in the next few weeks, especially in the mountains. So, again, if you check out Skycast now, again, really not a whole lot to talk about in terms of our weather today. If we go through the day today, we're going to be looking at generally sunny skies, a few clouds here and there. That southerly breeze, again, it's going to be on the breezy side, 10 to 20, 15 to 25 miles an hour, but dry and, again, mainly clear throughout the day today. We can see Francine off to our south and east by 10 o'clock tonight, moving at the center of that system, kind of moving into parts of northwestern Arkansas. And as we head tonight into the day tomorrow, again, kind of more of the same, maybe a few clouds from Francine drifting into parts of far eastern or southeastern Nebraska. But otherwise, as we head through the day on Friday, I think a little bit more cloud cover is going to be possible. So we'll call it mostly to partly sunny, but again, dry, breezy, and warm. Maybe a few degrees cooler, I think, for the day on Friday than today. And then as we head Friday into Saturday, again, also potentially starting the day with a little bit of fog, low cloud cover early in the morning, but by the afternoon, I think it's mostly to partly sunny across the state, generally dry, again, but also maybe just a degree or two cooler, but still looking at above average temperatures across the area. But we will see a small chance, I think, Saturday evening, Saturday night, for maybe a few isolated showers and thunderstorms across the region. Then that small chance will also carry over into the day on Sunday as well. So Storm Prediction Center severe weather outlook for the day today. Again, with Francine, we do have a marginal and slight risk across the southeast. Also have a marginal and slight risk across parts of western Montana, eastern Montana into the western Dakotas, parts of northern Wyoming. Here at home, though, not expecting any severe weather across the 10-11 coverage area. For the day on Friday, there is a general thunderstorm risk across the central sections of the state. Again, I think that's a little overambitious. I think most areas likely stay dry. Also have that general thunderstorm risk for the day on Saturday as well. I do think probably a little bit better chance on Saturday to see some of that isolated activity than for the day on Friday. 7-day precipitation potential looks like this. Again, two areas we'll keep an eye on. One, again, down across the southeast with Francine. Those areas could see 3, 4, 5, 6 inches of rain over the course of the next 7 days. But also, if you look across kind of areas to our northwest, Again, across Montana, into parts of Idaho, southern Canada. Again, a lot of moisture going to be falling over the course of the next week. Again, we just talked about it, but some of that could be coming in the form of snow for parts of the northern Rockies. But again, we're kind of sandwiched between those two systems across the state of Nebraska. Not a ton, but some, certainly more than we've seen over the course of the last 2 weeks or so, going to be possible. I'd say if you average it out across the whole state, maybe around a quarter to half an inch of moisture being possible as we head over the course of the next week. As far as temperatures are concerned, today more above average numbers are expected, though it will be a little bit cooler, especially across much of the 10-11 coverage area, with highs generally in the middle to upper 80s to right around 90 degrees. Again, we were at 95, I think, on Monday or Tuesday. So again, awfully warm, above average. We had some near triple-digit numbers in western Nebraska earlier this week. Not quite that high today, but anywhere from the mid-80s to low 90s across the state. In Lincoln, we're going to say right around 90 degrees, 87 in Grand Island, 88 in North Platte, 92 for Scottsbluff this afternoon. Low temperatures Friday morning, mid-50s to low 60s for most. Some upper 40s and low 50s out in the far west. High temperatures on Friday, again, maybe just a few degrees cooler, but still above average for this time of year, especially in eastern Nebraska, where we're still going to see highs in the mid to upper 80s to near 90 degrees. Mid 80s, though, in Grand Island, low 80s for North Platte, and also low 80s in the far west in the Nebraska Panhandle. Saturday morning lows ranging anywhere from the mid 40s in the far west to the low 60s in the far east and southeast. Saturday afternoon highs generally ranging from the low 80s to the low 90s. The warmest readings are going to be in the Panhandle here in Lincoln. We're going to say 85 degrees again. I think as you look towards kickoff, with again Nebraska hosting northern Iowa. Kickoff is at 6:30. Temperature likely in the low 80s with a southeast wind at around 5 to 10 miles an hour, so it should be pretty nice. Again, it's obviously usually way warmer than that in the actual stadium, but again, by the end of the game, again, it should be very comfortable. Partly cloudy, upper 60s, low 70s by around 10 o'clock through about midnight Saturday night. So again, those football conditions look pretty good. Again, maybe just a little bit on the muggier side, not necessarily humid, but on the muggier side compared to what it's been over the past couple days. 7-day forecast looks like this across for Lincoln, that is, I should say. And again, one thing you'll notice is, again, we start to see at least daily chances for some showers, maybe some isolated thunderstorms in the forecast as we head through the weekend into the week next week. Again, those are kind of some of the signals that we're starting to see of at least more chances for moisture coming our way, but you'll notice temperatures staying above average throughout the next 7 days. Again, we're generally in the mid to upper 80s to right around 90 degrees between now and next Wednesday. Also, again, still dealing with some breezy conditions for the day today as well as for the day tomorrow. And then as we look ahead to the weekend, not as much wind heading our way, but just giving a cursory glance here at next week. Also, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, looks like it could be pretty breezy as well. So the wind is going to, I think, going to continue to be an issue. And it's that time of year, again, we start to see the wind pick up just a little bit. So we'll keep an eye on that. But it looks like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of next week could be on the breezy side as well. 10-day forecast for select cities across the state looks like this. And again, you'll see over the course of the next week, it's generally just above average. We do start to see some cooler temperatures, more temperatures in the 70s as we head towards late next week and into the following weekend. Long-range outlook, 8 to 14-day temperature outlook from the Climate Prediction Center. This is September 19th through September 25th. And again, we through that whole time frame, through that 6-day time frame, we still have better than average odds of seeing above average temperatures head our way. But again, long-range outlooks continue to favor below average precipitation during that time frame as well. So that's, again, like I've mentioned a couple times, the long-range signals continue to hint at hopefully seeing some beneficial moisture across our area over the next, say, between weeks 1 and 2, next week to 2 weeks or so. If you look at the hazards over the next 8 to 14 days, again, we looked at the temperature outlook, and again, better than average odds at above average temperatures. Again, average highs in that time frame are generally in the upper 70s to low 80s. The excessive heat hazard, again, non-existent across the country. So that means, again, it's not necessarily going to be hot, but again, we're going to continue to see those above average temperatures. If you look at the heavy precipitation outlook, that 8 to 14-day temperature outlook, again, across much of the central plains, northern plains, they do have that area highlighted with a slight risk. That's stretching across eastern Kansas, eastern Nebraska, the eastern Dakotas, Minnesota, Iowa, into parts of Missouri. So again, those are more of those signals that we're keeping an eye on for the potential for some moisture heading our way. No concern for areas of rapid drought onset. No concerns for areas of heavy snow just yet. And then again, high winds will continue to be a little bit of a concern across much of the high plains and across much of the middle parts of the country as well, basically along and just to the east of the Rockies. So again, that is something we'll watch as we head over the course of the next week. So had a lot to talk about today, again, between drought and sort of short-term, long-term outlooks and some of the things that are going on locally and nationally. Appreciate everyone for tuning in, watching as always. Again, we're live right now on 1011's live platforms. That means we're live on the 1011 live stream on 1011now.com, our streaming app. So again, if you have a Roku, Apple TV, Fire TV, I'd encourage you to, again, download the 1011 app on those devices to, again, watch our live stream, watch newscasts, again, watch stories, watch a ton of different stuff to kind of keep you in the know of what's going on here locally. Again, also live on 1011's YouTube channel. Again, our YouTube channel fairly new. Again, it's less than 2 years old, so it's still growing. So again, tell you to like and subscribe, turn on those notifications on our 1011 YouTube channel. We have a ton of good stuff on the YouTube channel as well. I know that's where a lot of folks are getting their information nowadays, so we'd appreciate that. So appreciate everyone for tuning in and watching as always. Again, we do this live every morning, Monday through Thursday. So appreciate everyone for tuning in and watching. And so, yeah, keep it tuned to 1011 both on air and online for all of your latest news, weather, and sports. And until next time, I hope everyone has a wonderful Thursday.